Hello friends, welcome back once again to my video tutorial. This is Lipsa again with you. So guys, so far we have seen many Spring Boot applications developed with a single database. But if you want to connect a single Spring Boot application to multiple databases, then you are at the right place guys. And if you are new to my channel, please do like, share and subscribe my channel so that you can get all my videos. Okay. So let's get started for today's video guys. So today's video is all about how we can connect a single Spring Boot application to multiple databases. Okay, so don't afraid by looking at these images. I'll tell you step by step with a live example how we can connect a single Spring Boot application to multiple databases. So first look at this first block. So we have a single Spring Boot application and we have different database like DB1 and DB2. Okay. Both the DB is MySQL database. If you want to connect to other database like PostgreSQL, so we can keep one DB MySQL, another DB as PostgreSQL Azure. Okay, but in this example, I have taken the two database is in MySQL. Clear? So usually what we do when we have a Spring Boot application and we want to connect with our database and do some database operation, we need to first add the Spring Data JPA in our pom.xml. Then we need to define the Spring data source properties in our properties file or YAML file, isn't it? But here in this example we have two databases. So we want to connect this single Spring Boot application with two databases. So let's say in DB1 I want to store some account related information. Okay, and in DB2 I want to store the user of that particular account in DB2. Okay, so I have to separate DB1, that is let's say account DB is 1 and user DB is 1. So account DB I want to store the account information, user DB I want to store the user information. Clear? So I'll do that. So first what we need to do, the first and foremost important thing is we need to create the separate packages for the entity and repository of DB1 and DB2. Clear? So DB1 should be DB1 entity class should be in one package, DB2 entity should be in other package. Similarly, DB1 repository should be in one package and DB2 repository should be in another package. Clear? This is the most important thing. Okay. Why we need this? I'll tell you while I jump to the coding part. Clear so far? So we need to define the properties for DB1. Also we need to define the properties, data source properties for DB2. Then we need to define the DB1 config and DB2 config to connect with the database. So let's come back to our second block. So here, so as I mentioned, we need the config plus DB1. We need the config plus the database 1. So what is there in the config? We need to create the data source for the DB1. Then we'll create entity manager for the data source. And then we need to create the transaction manager from this entity manager factory. Okay. Similarly, for the DB2 as well, we'll create a separate data source. Then we'll create the entity manager from the data source. Then we'll create the transaction manager from the entity manager. So this is the flow. Clear? So let's jump to our coding part. So for the coding part, what we need to do? First we need to create a Spring Boot application. Correct. So let me go to my IntelliJ IDEA. So if you mark here, I have already created the project to save some time. Spring Boot with multiple data sources. Okay. This is my Spring Boot application. Now this Spring Boot application will connect with two separate DB. So the DB is first DB1 and the DB2. So what is our first requirement? First requirement is the entity of DB1 should be in one package, entity of the DB2 should be in other package. So let me go to my IntelliJ IDEA again. So this is the Spring Boot multi-data source, Spring Boot with multi-data source project. This is a Maven project. So I have the pom.xml. In the pom.xml you can see the Spring Boot starter data JPA is used, Spring Boot starter web is used and MySQL connector is also used. And I have added the project lambda to generate the getter and setter and two-string methods. Clear? Now let me expand my SRC folder. So in SRC, let me open the Java package here. If you mark, I have created an account DB package. Okay, all the account related information or classes I need to put inside this account DB. Okay, I have two DB, right? Account DB, other is user DB. So I have created this account DB to keep the all account related classes. Similarly, I have the user DB to set all the user related classes, and I have a config package. So I'll put the account related config and user related config inside this config package. I'll tell you all those things. So now let me go to my application.properties file. So we have added the Spring Data API in pom.xml. Now we'll go to the application.properties file to add our data source properties for both DB1 and DB2. So let's see how we can configure that one. So this is my application.properties file. So I have added the server port 9090. So this is Spring Boot application. So my application will start on this one. Clear? Now this is the configuration, or you can say this is the data source properties for account DB. Okay. So earlier we have only spring.datasource.jdbc URL, isn't it? But now we are going to connect with two multiple databases. That's why I give the naming convention like this. So Spring account DB. Okay, this is for account DB data source. That's why I put this account DB. Okay, you can use anything. So for the better understanding, I just put like this. I differentiate like account DB and user DB. Okay, but both the data source properties key should be different like this. Okay, then as I am going to connect this Spring Boot application with multiple data source, then I have created another data source for database 2, that is nothing but user DB. Clear? So for user DB also I have put the properties like spring.userdb.datasource.jdbc URL. This is the JDBC URL and DB name is user DB, and Spring user DB datasource username, which is nothing but root, password is also root, and datasource variable class name is this one. If you have used another database like PostgreSQL, then you can provide the PostgreSQL data source properties here. Clear? Now this is the common properties for both the database. That is nothing but Spring JPA generate DDL true, Spring JPA Hibernate DDL auto update, then Hibernate show SQL true, and the dialect properties. Clear? So this is nothing but my properties file. Okay. So I have created two separate data source for two database, that is nothing but account DB and user DB. Clear so far? That is my properties file. So if I go to the image again, so data source properties are defined for DB1, which is nothing but account DB in our case, and data source properties for DB2, which is nothing but user DB, is defined in our application.properties file. So now what we need to do? Now the entity for the database 1 will be in one package. Let me go back to my coding again. So see, this is the account DB we have created. Okay, here if you see, I have created an entity package inside this account DB. So inside this entity, I have a account class. And similarly, as I mentioned in this image, also we need to create a separate repository for that account DB. So here I have a separate repository package. If I expand this one, I have the account repository. Okay, let me open this two one. So this is my account class, which is nothing but to hold the account related information, which has the properties like ID, name and website. Similarly, if I go to the account repository, this is nothing but the interface account repository, which extends to JPA repository. Clear? And to hold the user related information, I have created this user DB package. Inside this user DB, I have the entity and repository as well. Okay, so we have kept the user related entity and repository in one package, and account related entity and repository another package. Okay, that is the important thing. So similarly, we have the user class, which contains the ID, first name, last name and email. Then we have the repository for user as well, user repository, that is extends to JPA repository. Clear? Clear the first block of this diagram. So we have a single Spring Boot application. We have two separate DB, that is DB1 and DB2. So DB1 is account DB, DB2 is user DB. And we have kept the entity for the DB1 in one package, entity for DB2 in other package, also repository for DB1 in one package and repository for DB2 in another package. Clear this one? Now what we'll do? Now we'll do the second block things, that is nothing but the configuration for DB1, DB2. So now we'll do the configuration for DB1 and DB2 to let Spring Boot application know to use which configuration for which database. Clear? Let me go to my code again to show you the configuration. This is one important point. Let me just close everything. Now let me expand this config one. So first let me expand the account data source config. Okay. So account data source config, mark here. Don't worry about the coding part. I'll share the GitHub link of this project in the description box. You can download and check it yourself. So see, okay, so now account data source config. So for account DB, I have created this account data source config. So I annotate this one @ configuration, @ enable transaction management. Okay, then @ enable JPO repository. So in JPO repository, first we will see here. We have the entity manager factory rep, that is account entity manager factory, transaction manager rep, that is account transaction manager, then base package. So base package is nothing but what? This is the repository, account repository base package. Okay. com.eg2excel Spring Boot multiple data source .accountdb.repository. Let me go to the repository so that you can understand. Yeah. See, this is my package com.eg2excel Spring Boot multi-data source account.repository. So that need to be passed here. The repository base packages for account repository. Okay, so this is the base package you need to provided here in the base packages. Clear? Then what else? First we have to create a data source object. Then we need to create the entity manager from the data source. Then last we'll create this transaction manager. So let me go back. Okay, see, so I have annotated this @bin and provide this account data source. So now we'll create this account data source object. Okay, data source dot create method create.build that will create the account data source. So to create this account data source, how Spring Boot will know which data source property it will take? We need to tell Spring Boot to take this data source property to create the account data source. So how we need to tell? Here you can see prefix is equal to spring.accountdb.datasource. So if I open my application.properties file, you can see here the data source properties for account DB starts with spring.accountdb.datasource. Okay. So Spring Boot will pick these properties to create the account DB data source. Clear? So here we have provided the prefix spring.accountdb.datasource. So it will create the data source object for account DB. Clear? Now we'll create the entity manager factory from this account data source. So we have created this. See, we have created local container entity manager factory bin. This is nothing but your account entity manager factory. Okay, we have provided the data source. Which data source? We have provided @qualifier account data source. So this is the account data source we have created here. Okay, so we have just provided this account data source to create the entity manager factory. So which entity manager? See here in the builder.data source account data source .packages. Which package it will select to create the entity manager? This is the package com.eg2excel Spring Boot multiple data source accountdb.entity. So here if I expand this account one, this is the package entity package. We have all the entities. Okay, here we have only single entity, that is account. So it will pick the account one to create the entity manager factory by using this data source. Clear? Then we have the transaction manager. So by using this account manager factory, entity manager factory, see account manager factory we have provided here @qualifier that will create the transaction manager to do the transaction with our database. Clear the configuration for account DB. Okay, we have created the data source object. From the data source object, we have created the entity manager factory. By using this entity manager factory, we have created the transaction manager. Clear? Similarly, for the user DB also, we have the user data source config. Let me open this one, user data source config. Here also I annotated it @configuration, @enable transaction management, and @enable JPA properties. So for the JPA properties, we have the reference user entity manager factory, entity manager factory. For transaction manager factory, we have the user transaction manager. and the base package. So which base package it will take? That is the UserDB repository. Okay, repository class JPA repository is used to connect with our database, isn't it? So if I open the UserDB, you can see the repository package. User repository nothing but com.eg2xl Spring Boot multiple data source UserDB repository. Okay, here I have provided this base package for UserDB repository. Clear? Then similarly, like AccountDB, we need to create the user data source by using this data source builder.create.build. So here the prefix will be start with spring.userdb data source. If I go to my application.properties, here for userdb we have the prefix spring.userdb.data source. Understood why I have provided the naming convention like this: spring.accountdb data source, spring.userdb data source. Okay, we are just telling Spring Boot application to use these data source properties for this database. Okay, so for the userdb, the prefix is spring.userdb data source. Clear? Now this is sorted. So we have created the data source. So by using this user data source, we will create what? We will create the entity manager factory. So entity manager factory, in which package all our entities are there? Inside our userdb.entity. So this is the base package. com.eg2xl Spring Boot multi-data source .userdb.entity. Clear? So now by using this entity manager factory, we will create the transaction manager. So transaction manager we have created. That's it. So for DB2 also, which is nothing but UserDB, we have created the configuration. So that Spring Boot will know this configuration is used for UserDB database and this configuration is used. This account data source configuration is used for AccountDB database. Clear? This is the simple configuration. So how we can connect to a single Spring Boot application with multiple data sources. Okay, if you have another database, then similarly also you can create the config classes. So one thing you mark here, I have annotated this one as @primary, so that I tell Spring Boot application that this AccountDB is my primary database. Okay, else the ambiguity will occur. So that's why I annotated this one as @primary. This data source is @primary and account entity manager factory is also @primary I am annotated. Clear? So that's why nothing but how we can connect a single Spring Boot application to multiple data sources. So I hope this code will justify this diagram, isn't it? So we have done all those things according to this image. Clear? So let me just quickly run this application to check the application is running or not. Meanwhile, let me show you another thing, controller. So I have created two controller also, account controller to save the account details and to fetch the account list. Similarly, in user, I have another user controller also. To save the user, I have this endpoint API/b1/user. To get the user, I have this one. Get all. Sorry, just a typo here. This is save. Let me stop this one. This is save user. Okay, this is get user list. Clear? So let me run this application again. So that we will check these 4 endpoints, 2 for user and 2 for account. We'll save the data to AccountDB and fetch from AccountDB. We'll save the data to UserDB and fetch from UserDB. Okay? Okay, so my application started on port 1990. Let me go to my Postman to check all these endpoints. So first we need to check our first endpoint, that is save a particular account. Okay, so API/b1/account. Let me give the account name like Wipro. Then let me give the website like wipro.com. Okay, send it. Okay, so status is 200. The data is saved successfully. We are getting this in the response. So let me hit the second endpoint, that is the get endpoint /accounts. Let me hit send. Then I will get 2 records. One is TCS, other one is Wipro. This TCS I have already said, so that is coming in the list. Clear? So now we are able to connect to our account DB, isn't it? So we are able to save the data, also able to get the data. Now we need to check the operation in the user DB also. So let me go to another endpoint. So this is my user. So let me give some random name like robot. Okay, let's say this is the user I want to save. Let me hit send. Okay, the user is saved. ID, first name, last name, email. Now let me hit the second endpoint, that is get endpoint slash users. Hit send. And I'll get the two records. One is this one. So this is the first record. This is the second record. So also we are able to connect to our second DB, that is user DB. Clear? So guys, I hope you understand how we can connect a single Spring Boot application to multiple data sources. Okay, that's it for today's video guys. See you in my next video. Till then, thanks for watching. Thank you.